Hey, what's up everyone? This is Glassman, an international student at UCSB from China. But because of COVID-19, I have been back to China since last March and I have been staying in China for 1 year. It is a little shame that I have gained 10 kilograms after returning to China because of my Chinese stomach has been fully satisfied throughout the year. My father once asked me whether you could never eat Chinese food at American. And why did you get so many weights after returning to China? I did. I did have some Chinese food at American, and it's a little different. Maybe not a little. We could say it's totally different. I will show you where's the differences in this video. Before I went to the US, I thought I would have burgers, pizzas, pastas, and steaks every day. Wow, it sounds a very good life.
Nice.
However, my Chinese stomach protested in the first week, and several of my Chinese friends and I spent the first weekend scouting Yelp for the nearby Chinese food. Finally, we found a restaurant called Madame Lu in the downtown of Santa Barbara. However, we fully surprised when we got the menu. We thought that, wow, is that Chinese food? What? There are a lot of dishes on the menu that we haven't heard before, and even some of them are very funny. One of them is toast chicken. If translated directly by Chinese, it's 左宗棠 chicken. People all over China know 左宗棠, a Qing dynasty statesman and military leader, and chicken is also a very normal food in China. However, when putting these things together, it's become a thing that I have never heard in my 19 years of life in China. I once asked two native Californians from my dorm which Chinese dishes that impressed you most. They both said it's toast chicken, so it's very strange. So, is that Chinese food or am I native Chinese? I don't know. With the curiosity, we ordered one. It is a sweet deep fried chicken dish. When we asked the waitress why it was called 左宗棠 chicken, she said the dish comes from Hunan, where 左宗棠 is from. So in the United States since last century, it has been always called 左宗棠 chicken. This is even stranger, because it's hard to associate this sweet chicken with Hunan food. Hunan food in China is famous for its spicy taste, and there is no sweet taste in Hunan food. And it is not just toast chicken, other food are also very weird here. For example, it is my first time in the 19 years to eat the boiled fish with pickled cabbage without the soup. I will be prefer to call it the fried fish. Moreover, the kung pao chicken here is also very strange. According to the local Chinese practice, kung pao chicken also make up with very small pieces of chicken, like the diced chicken. However, the size of the chicken here are very big. It is like the chicken nuggets, so we cannot accept this kind of food. However, after 1 year at UCSB, because there are not so many Chinese restaurants here, we get used to it. It is not delicious, but yeah, it can save us in the US. Now, let's move to the Los Angeles. There are many Chinese restaurants in Los Angeles and much more than that in the Santa Barbara. And there are even many Chinese restaurants that from the China to the US, such as the Haidilao Hot Pot and Meizhou Dongpo at Arcadia and San Gabriel and Din Tai Fung at Santa Monica and Coco all over the Los Angeles. So if I don't have to study for an exam at the weekend, my friends and I usually went to the Los Angeles, and it is really the happiest time because there are all delicious food here. Why there are so many authentic Chinese restaurants in Los Angeles and none in Santa Barbara? From this reading in week 10, we find out his answer. A big part is the concentration of Chinese immigrants. One place must be mentioned, San Gabriel. Using San Gabriel as an example, Liu and Lin in this article cite the relationship between the increase of the number of Chinese immigrants in this area and the increase in the number of Chinese restaurants. We learn from the article that San Gabriel is the largest Chinese gathering place in the United States. By 2000, Southern California has become the home of over 500,000 Chinese residents, about 50% of this population concentrated in the San Gabriel Valley area. And from the table of the article, we can find the restaurant in San Gabriel increased by over 600% in 20 years from 1988. And the new immigrants in recent decades tend to have more traditional, authentic Chinese tastes. So the restaurants they open and they rent in this area tend to be more authentic Chinese. However, in Santa Barbara, the Asians make up just 3.5%, not to mention Chinese. UCSB is also the UC with the least Chinese students among all UC campuses. So the Santa Barbara maintains the American Chinese food, which we mentioned before, but the Los Angeles, like San Gabriel and Arcadia, tend to be more authentic. So if it's possible, I want to operate a restaurant after graduation to offer fully authentic Chinese food to Santa Barbara people. My grandfather's little brother also opened a Chinese restaurant in Memphis. He went to the US about 60 years ago and witnessed the change of Chinese food in the US. Memphis, like Santa Barbara, is also a city with small Chinese population. When I visited him 1 year ago, I found out that toast chicken and chopped suey was also in his restaurant. I asked him why these dishes were so popular in Chinese restaurants all over the US. He said it's not just because Native Americans love these dishes. These dishes are more like a kind of feast. It accompanies the process of Chinese American food culture. It's a long cultural process, but it's successful. As mentioned in the article From Chop Suey to the Mandarin Cuisine in Week 7, in these early decades, Chinese dining was associated with poor service, with tasty food, low price, and delivery service. And chop suey is the representative at that time. And after decades change, now poetic and imaginary Chinese cuisine is at its best in the US. Thanks to the efforts of all the people in the Chinese food industry in the United States over the years, we can make Chinese food standing in the United States. What's more, food is the symbol of identity. It makes every Chinese standing in the United States society. So I want to show respect to everyone who contribute to the Chinese American food. Thank you. That's all.